welcome to today's video. Please don't mind my hair. I'm trying to let it air dry and it's taking forever like underneath it. Anyways, today we need to pull out some new makeup for the month of April. I personally, I'm filming this intro after the actual shop part, and I had a little trouble like feeling inspired this month. I think I was mostly motivated to pull things that paired well with my Pan Those Eyeshadows project, but other than that, I really don't know what to pull in April. So let me know what you're pulling for the month of April, and maybe I can pull some extra things out. But yeah, make sure you say hello, and let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, as we get started, just like normal, these are the makeup items that I was using in the month of March. So the things in the backpack there are Project Pan items. These things up in the front and kind of towards that way are things that are going to go back in the drawer. So let's get into that first drawer. Okay, first drawer, I store primers, foundations, concealers, powders, blushes, bronzer, and like most of my face products are in here. Last month, I was using 2 primers that were newer to me, and I wanted to kind of give them a chance and see how I like them, what they kind of do. I find that this one's probably slightly more hydrating than this one, but they both provide about the same amount of pore filling, so if I need extra hydration, I'll use this one. If I just want a little bit of hydration and like some pore filling, I'll grab this one. All in all, I liked them both, but I'm gonna put them back this month. I'm gonna set these over to the side, and I went ahead and pulled out this guy here. This is my bin of primers, which is getting a little bit out of control. I have gone a little bit primer crazy this year, but I don't really mind it. So I think I wanna try this one out. This was recently gifted to me from a friend, as well as the No Pore Bomb primer. And I wanna kinda give these a go and see how I like them this month. I think that will be fun to test these out, especially now that we're getting into spring, and I do want my skin to begin to look a little bit more glowy. In the winter time, I start to like go towards that matte trend, so I think this is about time to pull out something a little glowy. Okay, now I can finally stick these in here and slide them over. Next up, let's talk about foundation. I'm currently panning that Vitalist Healthy Elixir foundation, and I'm very much over it. I'm starting to kind of want something a little lighter. This is definitely a thicker feeling foundation for me. So I think what I'm gonna do is give myself a little break and pull out something for my like foundation bin. So let me go ahead and figure out what I want to pull. I actually might pull 2. I think I'm going to pull out this Smashbox CC cream as well as my powder foundation from Bare Minerals. It will be nice to kind of see which one I might prefer, especially as we move into summer. I'm probably going to want something lighter and lighter. So I haven't tested these in a while. I pan foundations so slowly that I typically only work on like one foundation at a time. So I honestly barely remember what I think about this. I know what I think about this, but I barely remember what I think about the Smashbox CC cream, so maybe I can have a chance to kind of test these out this month and compare them together. Alright, let's talk about concealer madness here. Last month I was testing these 2 guys out. I have the hydrating one, this is the hydrating one, and then I have the matte one. The matte one can be a little bit dry on its own. The hydrating one I don't feel like has as much cover as the like matte one, but together, mixed together, they're pretty good, and I kind of want to leave them out. I think these might be my go-tos for a while. Also, this hydrating one is really good to mix with my current concealer that I'm painting because it's really light on me, so I kind of want to pull these or leave these 2 out probably for a while. I can put back my ordinary concealers. I'm not going to try, I probably will pan this soon, but for now it can stay in. I only pull out the Tarte Shape Tape when I'm like having like really nice makeup, like if we're going out, I'll pull those out. But then the ColourPop concealer I also need to pan. This supersized concealer is really good for Beau actually, and I rarely use it unless I'm using it on him, so that kind of is reserved for him. Then I have this guy that also needs to be panned, and this guy that maybe I should try pairing with some of those other concealers just to see if I like them, so I'll pull this one out too. Alright, I'm going to skip bronzer. For powder, I have this translucent powder that I pulled out last month to test out. Really enjoying this on my under eyes, so I'm just going to keep working on it. And then I also have a pressed powder and a Project Pan, so I don't need any powders at the moment. Bronzer, like I said, skip. Highlight, I do want to pull something out. Right now I have an orangey kind of highlight that I'm using. I have Mary Luminizer, which is very neutral, but I almost want something a little bit more friendly for like pink tones. That swatch is horrible, but that is Stila in the shade Kitten, and I do think that it's kind of got like a peachy pink kind of undertone to it, so I think I'll pull this one out this month. Now I do need to return this guy. This one was one that I was using for the past couple of months. This is the Diamond and Blush Palette from Natasha Denona. Really enjoy this. I especially am crazy about this blush shade here. It makes me want to buy other Natasha Denona blushes because I really genuinely am in love with that like formula. I love that kind of sheen kind of that it has. It has like a gold sheen to it. I also really love this glow powder up here, and the cream blush is pretty good. The highlights are okay. I'm not wowed by them, but these three especially, like, very, very good, and really enjoy them. I mean, not to say that I don't enjoy it. Clearly I enjoy this shade too, but I'm not like wowed. I think these highlights are kind of like other highlights that you could buy, but this blush, oh my goodness, I'm all about that blush. But I will just slip it back here where it goes, and we need some blush. All right, last month I was using my Hollywood blushing trio from Laura Geller. Really enjoyed using this, but I think I'm gonna slip it back for now, and I'm gonna grab out a pink blush. I'm wearing a lot of like mauvey pink cool tone looks right now, and so I think that this one will pair really nicely with those. Plus, I'm painting a warm toned corally blush already too, so this one will be my kind of cool tone option. But yeah, I think that's it for this top drawer. Okay, drawer number 2, we have quite a bit to put back. I did relocate my bullet lipsticks over here, and I'm gonna put back this guy here. This is the NYX Ombre Lips Pencil in Poppy and Lily. I really only like the lipstick shade, but it's such a gorgeous like pastel-y purple. I didn't really get to wear it as much as I want. I really thought that last month I would wear more pops of color on my lips, but I actually ended up wearing more colorful eyeshadow pops, and you'll see why in a second. I'm also gonna put back Maybelline Berry Cherry and Troublemaker from Too Faced, and also Bite Beauty Fig. These are all very like different colors. This one's a more pinky kind of shade, pinky nude. Berry Cherry is a more pink toned red, and then this guy here is just hot pink, which I love. Now I will leave out this Illamasqua lipstick. I have only got to wear it like once or twice, and I just want to get to know it a little bit better since it's the newest lipstick to me. So I'll leave it out to play with one more month. Last month I also pulled out a couple Super Shock shadows. Cusp I didn't really end up using in a look that was like showable. I did kind of play around with it a little bit, but nothing like serious. Then I did end up using this one in I Like You, and I think I might leave it out one more month just because my Panthers eyeshadow shade, it might go with pretty well, and I didn't try pairing those together. So I think I might leave that out one more month. This guy here in Ratio, I also didn't really get to play with as much as I wanted to, and it's such a good springtime shade that I kind of want, even though it has to be built up a good bit, I kind of want to play with it as well. But I also want to compare it to Twitter Pated back here. That is also another kind of pinky rose gold kind of shade, and this one might be better to pair with my mauve tones. Well, this one's getting a little dry. But you can see they're a beautiful shade, and I think that that one might go really well with a couple new shades that are in my Panthers Eyeshadows project, so I'll also pull this one out. Now let's talk about some pops of color that I had last month. I ended up pulling out this teal liner to play with some, but I will put it back for now. This green, I just tell you, I'm loving it, and I'm not ready to put it back. Plus, I think it will still go really well with my Panthers eyeshadow shade, so I'm leaving it out yet again. I think this has been out since like January probably, maybe February, but it's probably been out in rotation all year, and I'm not even mad at it. Now these guys here I had so much fun playing with. I ended up pulling for the green quite a bit. Almost probably about once a week I would find a way to incorporate this green liner. This one I only ended up using one time, so I think I'm going to try to leave it out and just try it out one more time. I'm not quite as comfortable with this shade compared to the green. The green I feel like suits me really well, and I know how to pair it, especially like bronzy shades, but this one's a little bit more intimidating, so I want to try to figure out a couple more ways to wear it, and I actually kind of want to pair it with some mauve tones, so that's part of the reason why I want to leave this out one more month. I've also been saying for a while that I'm eventually going to put these away, I enjoy having these out so much just to reach for that I'm probably going to leave these out for the rest of the year. Gold glitter, little green kind of glitter, they're so much fun to just add to a look. They just add a little bitty pop of something special. I think I might just leave these in my like makeup basket for the rest of the year, and I don't end up reaching for them incredibly often, but maybe about once a month I do end up reaching and adding them into a look, and I really enjoy it. Now I did want to pull out a Stila glitter to use this month, and I honestly can't make my mind up between like this pink one here in Enchantress and this one here in Wanderlust, so maybe I'll pull out both of these and just see which one I end up reaching for this month. But yeah, I don't need mascaras, I don't need brows. I think we're done with this drawer. Okay, we have the last drawer. This is mostly eyeshadow and then a couple liquid lipsticks. I'm going to put back one of these guys. It's a Palladio Casey Holmes collaboration called Georgia from a couple of years ago. I wore this, really enjoyed it, and if I want it again, I'll pull it out. I still have not made myself reach for this daggum, like the berry shade Baka from Stila. I still have not made myself wear it yet. So I'm going to leave it out one more time, and if I don't, then I don't know, y'all can yell at me in the comments or something, but I'm gonna wear this month, I promise. All right, now for the fun part, I'm going to show you a bunch of palettes that I'm going to be putting back this month. First off, we have Beauty Bay Pastels palette. I probably will end up pulling this back out later, but right now I really want to focus on my project pan, so I'm not really anticipating that I'll have a lot of time to reach for this, so for now it can go back. Also, Baby Got Peach, love this in the spring, and really kind of sad to be putting this back right now, but again, I just really want to focus on some of those shades, so I'm going to put it down for now, and hopefully I'll be able to pull this back out next month. Now this one, the Truly Madly Deeply from ColourPop, I've had out since January, so I don't quite mind placing this one or putting this one down, especially since I'm more attracted to the peach tones in the Baby Got Peach palette. So I think this one will be okay for a while to kind of just ignore. You can rest. Now these last two, one of them was in a project. This is the Sultry palette from ABH. I was working on the shade up here, used it 20 times, so it's rolling out of that project. And then Norvina, I was just using because it's such a good springtime palette. But I think again that I'll put this back for now in the hopes that maybe by next month I can kind of reach for these a little bit more easily. But right now in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project, again, I'm working on two shades that are pretty similar, and I'm feeling a little bit intimidated by that, so I don't think that I want to grab for these. However, I have been thinking about what palettes that I think would pair well with those shades, and I think this BH Weekend Festival palette has these kind of two shades here that I really want to try out. And also the Sigma Enchanted palette, I really want to try out this green down here. When I had this in my project pan, I really only used this shade and maybe these two just a little bit, but I want to try these greens with some of the shades in my project, so I think I'm going to pull this back out and give myself permission to use the rest of the palette, since I really didn't touch many of these shades despite how beautiful this palette is. Now let me quickly show you some shades going in my project. I'm working on the Lorac Pro 3 palette, so this one will stay out. I'm working on Modern Renaissance, another one that needs to stay out. And I'm working on the Sol Mone palette, which is another one that needs to stay out. Now I also need to pull out these three here. These are shades that were recently rolled in, and so we have the Mini Lila palette, this middle shade specifically. Then we have the Marvelous Mobs palette that needs to be pulled out because it is now in my project. And lastly, we have the Emeralds palette, which needs to be pulled out because it is now in my project too. And that's quite a bit of eyeshadow, so I think we're done here. Alright, this is everything that I've pulled to use in the month of April. Definitely a lot of eyeshadow, but I think that'll be okay. I'm actually kind of excited to see if I am more inspired having this much, or maybe if it's going to be overwhelming. Only time will tell, but we'll see. Maybe I'll learn a little bit of a lesson this month in April, but I hope everyone enjoyed this. Please say hello in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.